Hello. Oh, why does the lighting look so weird? Hello. The lighting looks so weird. What the heck? Okay, you know what? We're just gonna stick with it. Sorry if I look really puffy this morning. I slept in until... Oh, my eyes are so red too. Well, I didn't sleep in. I was awake until 4 a.m. editing. And then it is now 9 a.m. and I woke up at 8 a.m. So, running on 4 hours of sleep, y'all, but it's okay. We got this. Good morning. I'm so excited to see all of your questions. I'm going to pull up on my phone. That way I can see all the questions coming in, because between the phone that's filming, this phone, and my computer, it is just like mayhem everywhere. Let's see. Here we go. Love from Northern California. I hope you guys are okay with the fires and everything. Oh, they're frozen. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hi! Okay, all the comments are slowly coming in. Hello from Scotland. Hello. Let's see. Hi from Thailand. That's so cool. I want to go to Thailand so badly. Once this is all up, I do plan to going to Southeast Asia. Oh my gosh, my eyes are so red. Sorry guys. I put in eye drops whenever I don't get much sleep. My eyes always get super red, and I put in 2 rounds of eye drops and it's not working, so. From Turkey. I really want to go to Turkey too. Honestly, I just want to go everywhere with the quarantine right now. Oh, there we go. All the questions come in. Awesome. Slovenia, England, UK, Michigan. I love it when you guys tell me where you were watching from. Ireland, Malaysia, Portugal, Spain. Oh my gosh. Korea. I was supposed to go to Korea this year, and then quarantine hit, and I was so sad about it. But don't worry, I will be coming as soon as I can. India, yay! London, Canada, Finland. Oh, okay, awesome. Well, I'm so excited to get into the questions. You guys may be surprised why I'm doing another live stream so soon, because I just did one last week, and I just want to apologize. Like, this previous week has been pretty stressful, and I wasn't able to get out the amount of videos that I really wanted to, and so I felt bad for kind of like not getting you guys as much content as I usually do. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do a live stream, because I just feel bad, and I always want to make sure that I'm, you know, like keeping you guys as entertained as possible with content, particularly during quarantine. I don't know if it's the same for you, but Hawaii has gone on some lockdowns, and I feel like it's going to go back on like full lockdown again. And so you guys, I always want more content from my favorite YouTubers, and hopefully I'm one of your favorite YouTubers if you're watching here today. And I just want to get you guys as much content as possible. So I apologize about that. What we're going to be doing is the typical answering your skincare questions live stream. You guys can ask whatever questions you have, and I will do the best I can to answer them. We do, like in these live streams, I like to focus a lot on like product recommendations and very, minor issues. If you are struggling with anything like really extreme in your skin, like if you're if you have really severe issues, then you need to go to a dermatologist to get that treated. I am not trying to replace your dermatologist or esthetician. If you are having any skin concerns, please go to them with those. This is just for fun, to help with product recommendations, talk about my skincare philosophy, see if it's similar to your skincare philosophy, help you steer you in the right direction, because that's the entire focus of my channel. My channel is all about, helping people who are brand new to the skincare industry, because I am not the most educated person in the skincare industry. Definitely not. I feel like I'm one of the least educated, which is why I really focus on, pushing people in the right direction. And then if you want to pursue further education, you can go to your dermatologist, your esthetician, chemist, to learn more about that. So this is just for fun, talking about product recommendations, all that kind of shit. So let's just get into it. I will be answering as many questions as I can, and I just want to say ahead of time, thank you to everyone who sends through super chats. I like to do a balance of answering both super chats and, questions from, normal questions, but sometimes it can get a little chaotic, so I'll do the best I can to answer as many as possible. Oh yeah, everyone's still coming in. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. I have a lot of dark spots from past acne marks. What should I buy that won't break the bank? Yes, so Typically, and I don't know if this is exactly it, but a lot of times that's called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, or PIH. And so those are typically like acne scarring that you'd want to get rid of. So I recommend starting off gentle and then working your way up. So a good gentle way of like addressing that is niacinamide, for example. That's an awesome ingredient that helps to brighten dark spots. If that doesn't work, you can try going up to like a vitamin C if you want. Or typically I recommend, if niacinamide doesn't work, jump to retinol, because retinol is really good for like repairing previous damage within the skin, and definitely a good way of not only like preventing future acne, getting rid of that scarring, and also helping with actual physical scarring if you do have that. The Inkey List, The Ordinary, both have really good affordable retinols. One of my favorite starter retinols that I recently discovered is the Versed retinol serum cream thing. That one's really good. And then if you're looking for a good niacinamide treatment, I mean, there's the Ordinary niacinamide treatment. There's so many, like I talk about them all the time. That one's my personal favorite. And also, I recently discovered one and it slipped me mind. I don't remember. But there's lots of niacinamide serums that you can choose from. Let's see. I have a pretty patchy beard, so I have to shave pretty often. How do I prevent dry skin from over-exfoliating every time I shave? Okay, yeah, so, I mean, I will be honest, dry skin isn't necessarily a direct result from, like, shaving a lot. I will say, you do want to maybe worry about, you know, over-exfoliating, definitely, and I think just helping really to repair your moisture barrier as much as possible. So really moisturize your neck, really go in with, like, thicker, heavier creams that are going to be able to, you know, kind of, target essentially rebuilding your skin after exfoliating, because I kind of understand that, and sometimes I have to shave like twice in a day if I have to film a video like early in the morning and late at night, because my hair does grow that fast on my face, and it's really frustrating because it causes like redness and inflammation. Just really focus on like soothing ingredients and repairing your moisture barrier. Thick, heavy hydrating creams, and go for ingredients like, you know, niacinamide or Centella asiatica or green tea that are going to really work to soothe the redness. And that should help with, you know, both the dryness and the overexfoliation problem. Let's see. Anja says, hi Hiram, all my purchased skincare products are Hiram approved, yay! Whoa, did my voice crack? Early morning voice, yay! Question, is it okay to use Paula's Choice 2% BHA once a week and Wish Trends 5% mandelic acid for the rest of the week? Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. Usually with exfoliation, I don't recommend going above 4 times a week, but definitely, I mean, BHA is one of those things that can be used every day if you really are struggling with like breakouts and, you know, issues like that. Mandelic acid is extremely gentle, so you can really, you know, also use that like 3-4 times a week. It just really depends on what your personal skin needs and what your like primary concerns are. Sorry, I just realized like I'm kind of low. What's going on with my camera? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, sorry, I just realized like my head was being cut off. Oh, graphic. So I would say, yeah, that's totally fine. Do it whatever feels best, but like I said before, just not over 4 times a week is what I would recommend. Hiram, help. My sister just spent $40 on a brand called Juice Beauty, and I can't find any good reviews, so I don't know whether to warn her against it or not. Is it Hiram approved? You know what, Juice Beauty, I have a love-hate relationship with them. Some of their products aren't not bad. They really focus on like using like fruit juices, which I'm kind of like, I have mixed feelings about, because I'm just like, juices, like fruit juices, like even aloe juice or stuff, like they're not bad, but they don't deliver a lot of benefits to the skin. You really get benefits when you use extracts, so beneficial plant extracts. Extracts are very concentrated. Juices are literally like 95% water and 5% of the actual extract, so you're not getting as much benefit. Also with Juice Beauty, they have partnered with Gwyneth Paltrow to release the line Goop, which I have an issue with because that website just bugs the heck out of me because it's based on pseudoscience. And so I have a little bit of like a ugh with them because of that, but some of their products are not terrible. Some of them are fragrance free. I can't remember them off the top of my head just because, I'll be honest, I have had no interest in really pursuing that brand. But just make sure to look out for like essential oils or fragrance, because I know some of their products are really chock full of that. But you know, you already spent $40 on it. Use it to the end of the bottle, and then you could find new products in the future if you want to. Let's see. Are there any good drugstore oil cleansers? Ooh, You know, that's one thing in the drugstore that I don't find very often is a good oil cleanser. I think Neutrogena has one if I'm not mistaken, but I do know that Neutrogena has a cleansing balm. It is not by me. I don't know where it went. Neutrogena has a cleansing balm that I really like. It's polyethylene free. Burt's Bees also has one right here, cleansing balm that you can use. I typically like cleansing balms more than oils just because they're a little less messy. But as far as cleansing oils, like I can't think of a lot. To be honest, a lot of the cleansing oils that I've seen at drugstore are so full of fragrant essential oils, and I don't mind fragrance too much in a cleansing oil so long as it's kind of within reason. But when it's at the top of the ingredient list, I'm just like, okay, nothing good can come out of that. Which is my typical problem with cleansing oils. I usually recommend cleansing oils from like Korea. So whether you shop on, you know, YesStyle or Stylevana or Wishtrend, there's just so many better cleansing oils from there for relatively the same price. Korean skincare is like, honestly, sometimes way cheaper than drugstore skincare. I have a soy allergy, and any recommendations for soy-free cleansers, moisturizers for combination skin? Ooh, you know, that is difficult because soy is in so many skincare products. I would not be able to tell you off the top of my head which ones don't and do have it. I would say, you know, there's helpful websites like CosDNA, where you can break down all of the ingredients to make it a little bit easier to read, and then you can find if there is soy. But unfortunately, that's just, when it comes to individual, like, sensitivities to ingredients, that's just something that you're gonna have to like watch out for whenever you buy a product. You're gonna have to look through the ingredient list, but that's not a terrible thing because everyone should always be looking through an ingredient list before they buy a product. So if it'll encourage you to like learn a little bit more about ingredients, I think it's a good thing. But I'm sorry you have that sensitivity. It's rough having a skin sensitivity to a specific ingredient. Rate my night routine: Curology cleanser, ordinary niacinamide, Curology serum, Cerave moisturizer, and in the morning, no Curology serum and sunscreen at the end. Yes, Hiram approved. It has my stamp of approval. That is a perfect routine. Simple, effective, non-irritating. You're good to go. Charlotte's Magic Cream. So that's Charlotte Tilbury. Worth the hype. Any dupes? I can't afford this stuff anymore. I don't think it's worth it. It's one of those creams that's, you know, very expensive for ingredients. I mean, I will say it's not as bad as like La Mer or like, you know, those products where I truly believe that it's just like ripping people off. Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit of an improvement, but I still don't think it's worth it personally. And Charlotte Tilbury does love her fragrance, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, here's the thing: when it comes to any moisturizer that is like upwards of $100, you can find another moisturizer at a lower price point that works exactly the same. Now, I will say I don't know off the top of my head any dupes for that, but I'm sure there's videos about dupes for Charlotte Tilbury's cream. But most just good drugstore moisturizers are going to be great dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury cream and operate the same and give you the same benefits without you having to pay the high price point. Okay. Hi Hiram, recommendations for smile lines. I love smile lines. I think smile lines are beautiful, to be honest. You know, I definitely obviously like to fight against wrinkles where I can, but I like to fight against useless wrinkles. Like, nothing annoys me more than like lines on the forehead or like lines right here or just lines anywhere on the face where it's like not necessary. But I'll be honest, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but like smile lines like right here are not that bad because it shows that you're a happy person. You know, I'd rather have smile lines than like completely, you know, stoned face. And I also think we shouldn't, you know, look negatively on all wrinkles. It shouldn't be, because it's a natural cycle of aging. We will get wrinkles. And I figure if we are going to get wrinkles, why not have smile lines? Because that means we've lived a happy life. But, you know, I will say retinol always helps with lines. To be honest, once a line has already formed, it is really difficult to get rid of it because the damage is already so deep, which is why it's important to start anti-aging products really early. But retinol is going to be your friend because that's the best bet for, you know, minimizing the appearance of those fine lines as much as possible. Let's see. How do I get rid of blind pimples? Will retinol be better or salicylic acid? I've had them for 3 years. Please help. I'm not sure what you mean by blind pimples. Maybe you mean fungal acne. Is that like the little bumps on the surface of the skin that are not like pimples that you can like pop? They're like under the skin pimples kind of, or just like little tiny bumps. I'm not sure what you mean by blind pimples exactly, but for those, I would say you want to use like a you know, anti-dandruff shampoo like Nizoral that has a specific ingredient, and I don't even want to pronounce it. It starts with a K. That helps with that helps with getting rid of the fungal acne on the face, and it works wonders for so many people. So I would recommend that, but maybe go to your dermatologist if it's not that, or if you have been struggling it for years and years and years, because it could be something that I have no idea what it is, you know? I've had blackheads on my nose for years and I can't seem to be able to remove them. What can I do? So usually my magic recipe for blackheads is one of two ways. I either recommend using salicylic acid at night and niacinamide in the morning. Niacinamide will help to prevent sebum control, and salicylic acid is the smallest of all exfoliants, which will go deep into the pore and push out anything that, you know, is causing the pore to darken. Now, if that doesn't work, benzoyl peroxide face wash is a great way of also getting rid of blackheads. That's been proven to be really good, although it can be a little bit stripping, so just FYI, but benzoyl peroxide is a good alternative. If that's not working, then you can try a retinol, although, and like AHAs, like glycolic acid, but I will say those aren't going to be as effective in my experience, because they are not as small of a molecular size as salicylic acid, so they're not able to get as deep into the pore. And at that point, I would say maybe go check with a dermatologist, because it could be something else that I'm, you know, just not familiar with. But usually one of those two things, either the salicylic acid, niacinamide, or benzoyl peroxide, are a good, you know, way to go to help get rid of those blackheads. Wow, so many questions. Oh my gosh, guys. Wow, thank you for all the questions. I really appreciate it. Let's see. I work out midday. It's advised to cleanse after exercising, but that means I'd be cleansing 3 times a day. How do I avoid overstripping? Yeah, so just don't cleanse in the morning. When you wake up, there's really, I mean, the only reason why most people cleanse in the morning is, you know, to get, say, their nighttime exfoliating treatments or retinol treatments off and to put on a sunscreen. But to be honest, if you're going to be working out midday, I'd say in the morning, just wash your face with water and then apply a sunscreen afterwards. Keep the skincare routine really minimal up until you work out, and then after you work out, go in with the deep cleansing and the skincare routine, because you don't want that sweat to be trapped on the surface of your skin, but you don't also want to be cleansing 3 times a day, because that's going to be way too stripping for your skin, and there's really no need to be cleansing in the morning. It's just a matter of, you know, removing the skincare products that were there before, and so long as you're using a sunscreen, it should be fine. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Hi Hiram, aside from Clinique, what's your recommended K-Beauty drugstore acne spot treatment? Oh, thank you so much. You've done your research if you know that I like the Clinique one. You know, acne spot treatments are a tricky thing, because I feel like they're one of those that truly is a toss-up as to if they're going to work for you. Like, I have used so many that just do not work at all, and then the Clinique one has worked amazing. And I've talked to so many people that to where they're like, the Clinique one didn't do anything. Like, you know, all these other ones worked. So it really is an individual kind of game. I will say Versed recently came out with their Sulfur spot treatment, which I think is really cool, because typically the strategy for spot treatment is salicylic acid, but salicylic acid doesn't necessarily work, and Sulfur does, like for all people, and Sulfur does a great job of, like, you know, essentially pulling the impurities out of the area, and I think it's a really good, like, affordable drugstore one. I mean, it's a little bit more pricey than other drugstore brands, but Versed has really high quality ingredients and formulations, so I would say try that one. But just be careful about some other ones out there that are formulated with a crazy high concentration of denatured alcohol when you go to spot treatment. But I just say it's a testing game, you know, just like seeing what works for your skin and seeing what doesn't is the best I can recommend. Okay. Oh, so this is, I live in Brazil, and it's really difficult. I feel like I'm like double chin saying hi. I live in Brazil, and it's really difficult to find the skincare products you talk about. Help me. I'm struggling to find good and affordable options. This kills me every time I see this comment, because I wish I knew the product selection that each of you have in your own countries, because in reality, every single country has a different product selection available and different federal legislative guidelines. So I don't know what the exact, you know, legislation for skincare is within your country. So I don't know how to be how strict to be when looking at the formulations. And I also just don't know what brands are available in each of your countries. And the issue is on my end is like every single country's different with their product selection. So for me to, you know, find product recommendations for every country would take a lifetime, you know, so unfortunately I don't really know. That's why I really like to focus with you guys on like ingredients and like saying watch out for fragrance, watch out for, you know, stripping alcohols, watch out for this, watch out for that, and look for this ingredient, that ingredient, that ingredient, because that's going to be the best way that you can approach purchasing skincare. I wish I could say, you know, just buy this, just buy that, but I just don't, I'm not able to do that. So really focus on like what I'm talking about in my videos in regards to ingredients. That way you can empower yourself to be able to make smarter product purchasing decisions. So I hope that helps. Sorry if I trip up over my words. I am mildly dyslexic. At least I think. I shouldn't say that for certain, but it doesn't skip a generation, and my dad had it, so, and I struggle hardcore. I'm a flight attendant with sensitive skin, redness, and carry a ton of products on trips. Can you recommend a good all-day moisturizer with SPF I can use as a go-to that doesn't leave a white cast? Okay, so let's see. Good all-day moisturizer with SPF. So I hesitate with moisturizers with SPF. The reason is that in order to get the proper sun protection you need for, say, an SPF 30 or an SPF 50, you need to be using a lot of moisturizer, of the product itself. Like the amount of sunscreen that I use versus moisturizer, I use very little of moisturizer and I use a lot of sunscreen. And so if you were to, you know, be able to get the full amount of sun protection, you'd have to use like a good like half tablespoon to tablespoon of moisturizer, which is likely going to be a lot for your skin. So I would say, if anything, just use sunscreen, like an SPF 50 formula, like the Purito Centella SPF 50 sunscreen, or you can use the Dear Claire's one. These ones are both amazing because they're very lightweight. You can apply a lot. I'd say if you want the most like moisturizing experience, this one would be good because it's basically a moisturizer and a sunscreen in one. And that way you're getting the full protection. But yeah, I'd say if anything, if you know you're really wanting to keep your products as minimal as possible, just go for a sunscreen, because most sunscreens have to be formulated alongside moisturizing agents to be able to stay on the skin throughout the day. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Hey Hiram, advice for reapplying sunscreen over makeup and not ruining my makeup. Is there a product you recommend for this? So I have always been on the route of like powder sunscreens. I really like powder sunscreens because, and they're not foolproof. Like they will not provide anywhere near the protection as, say, like an SPF 50 sunscreen, but they're a really nice way of making sure that your skin stays matte throughout the day, and you can essentially be still reapplying your sunscreen in some way. But if you're going to be in a lot of direct light, I would say, you know, going in with your sunscreen throughout the day. You can do it by like essentially kind of spreading it out on the surface of your hand, taking like a beauty blender almost, and like blending it into your makeup, which still will break up the makeup a little bit, which is why it's good to have like a powder to go in over top of it. I actually would recommend going and watching Lab Muffin Beauty Science's video. She did a whole video about how to reapply sunscreen over makeup, because it's a really difficult thing to do. It's tricky, and it just depends on how much light you're being exposed to for how careful you need to be. If anything, I would recommend, you know, just yeah, it's tricky. Just go watch that video. She's a chemist. She knows way more about that than I do, and thankfully, like, I don't really have to struggle with that problem. Or if I am wearing, you know, like some powder for my videos, I don't mind just like going in with a sunscreen afterwards and like messing it all up. Even though it doesn't look bad, it's not a big deal. I'd also say maybe alter your foundations to ones that are like more focused on skincare, kind of like the Ilia SPF 40 skin tint, or the Cosrx face oil. Oh wait, this one doesn't have sunscreen. But these ones are really, so like this one, for example, has an SPF of 40. You're not going to be getting that full SPF protection, but it's really easy to go in with like either of these after you've put on sunscreen, because they're not going to be like heavy foundations. They're very lightweight and can blend into the skin relatively easily. So I say, if anything, try that out. Let's see. So many comments. You guys are awesome. Best eye cream. You know, it just depends. Eye cream is not necessary to a skincare routine, so that is completely your prerogative as to what you would consider to be the best. I'd say if you want a good affordable one, the Cerave eye repair cream is amazing. Niacinamide is way up on the ingredient list. I would also say I love the First Aid Beauty Retinol eye cream. The First Aid Beauty Niacinamide eye cream is super good too. So I'd say those are some of my favorites personally. Let's see. Hi Hiram, I have oily skin and I'm trying to find an affordable face mask for it. Any recommendations? Ooh, so I don't know a lot of face masks that deal with more oily skin. Usually it's like breakout prone skin, if anything. But I'd say exfoliating face masks are amazing for oily skin because we tend to, you know, really build up a lot of like surface layers on our skin from all that excess oil and sebum. So I'd say, I personally love, this is my guilty pleasure. It has an essential oil, but it's the Herbivore Blue Tansy face mask. Every time I use that exfoliating face mask, holy shit. It's amazing. It makes my skin look so good, so smooth. It gets enough dead skin cells off without overly sensitizing it, and it really reduces redness as well. The ordinary AHA solution, when used correctly, because I'm seeing a lot of people who are using that mask incorrectly, is also great as well. But if you're going to be using any of these exfoliating face masks, you absolutely have to wear a sunscreen. I refuse to recommend exfoliating face masks to people who will not wear sunscreen. So wear a sunscreen, bitch. Okay. Why does niacinamide foam up? I use Paula's Choice oil reducing toner and it foams up when I apply it with my hands. Same experience with the ordinary niacinamide too. Yeah, so I'd say it kind of comes down to like how you apply it as well. I have noticed when I do excessive rubbing with niacinamide, it will foam up a little bit. And there is kind of like a more like chemist explanation to this. It also can depend on what products you're pairing alongside it. So if you're doing another like leave-on treatment that doesn't really react very nicely with niacinamide or something in the formula alongside niacinamide, it can do that as well. But typically I just recommend with niacinamide, it's great to pat it into your skin more so than like rub it, because if you're going to rub it a lot, that's typically how it foams up pretty easily, at least what happens to me with the niacinamide serum. There's other videos. I'd recommend looking it up on YouTube though, because I know other YouTube skincare content creators have made videos about like why it foams up and different strategies you can do to get rid of it. So I'd recommend checking those out. Let's see. Hi Hiram, I've got this line across my stomach that I can't seem to get rid of. I've lost a lot of weight and focused on my posture, but the line just doesn't seem to fade. Any advice? You know, when it comes to, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but when it comes to like a really deep like line, whether it be on our face or on our body, like when it's a really deep and existing line, it is like nearly impossible to get rid of it unless you want to do like a procedure or you know, filler or Botox or something like that. That's usually the only way to get rid of it, because once a line is there, it is essentially, it's such deep damage that has already occurred in the skin to get to that point that it's sometimes just impossible to like use skincare products alone to get rid of that. And I'd say especially if you're really seeing it, if it's pretty obvious and noticeable, that's definitely something that you'd want to try to, you know, go to a professional to get treatment for, because that's a little, you know, difficult to get rid of, and skincare alone won't get rid of it. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, use this product because it gets rid of fine lines and aging, and get rid of this, it gets rid of wrinkles. Typically they just want to sell you the products, because in reality, I feel like a good person would actually tell you like when skincare isn't going to work enough. And in that case, I don't think skincare would be enough, and you'd want to get, you know, something specifically, you know, professional to treat that. I'm in Arizona with a job where I always switch between being outside sweating and going back inside to cool off. Hey, I'm from Arizona. My skin has always been horrible because of it. Any tips for me at work? I use Salicylic acid cleanser and iUnique. You know, that is a tricky one, because I used to struggle with that as well. Like where I used to work, it's so humid here in Hawaii, and then I would walk into my workplace and it is like freezing, like with a lot of AC, so it immediately dried out the skin. I would say I'd say just use 2 non-irritating moisturizers before you start your day. When you have to go outside, you know, use a really lightweight gel moisturizer, and then immediately when you get to work, clean your hands and apply a new moisturizer if you can. I know sometimes that's not going to work if you wear makeup, but if you can, apply a heavier moisturizer to be able to withstand all, you know, the AC and everything that's going on with, you know, the air and the temperature, and hopefully that could help. But it is one of those tricky things when you're dealing with such contrasting environments. It's difficult to recommend one product that's gonna like work for everything, so I'd say that's your best bet. Otherwise, just at nighttime, moisturize like crazy. Use a good heavy moisturizer overnight where you're going to be getting a lot of moisture to prep your skin for that throughout the day, because your moisture barrier could be wrecked, and the best way of treating that is using a good overnight moisturizing treatment. Let's see. What do you think of Cetaphil lotion? So Cetaphil is okay overall. I did a video where I compare Cetaphil versus Cerave. I like Cerave better, but you know, Cetaphil is fine. I feel like Cetaphil recommends like the base level of skincare, just like, okay, you know, it works. Basic ingredients, old-fashioned ingredients, but it works. Cerave is a little bit more innovative in their strategy for, you know, products and formulations, in my opinion. Ooh, okay, so I've had really painful cystic acne since I was 9, and now I'm on Accutane for the second time. What would you recommend to provide the moisture I need without making my breakouts worse? That is tricky because I'm not your dermatologist, so I don't know your skin best, and especially if you're on Accutane for the second time, it probably means that your skin is not going, and maybe this is a, you know, a wrong statement, but it might not be going in the direction that, you know, is typical with people with Accutane. A lot of people who go on Accutane, like their, you know, acne resolves pretty much within a year. So if you're going through a second time, that may mean your skin is a little bit more unconventional, which is why I get nervous about recommending a product. And I know it's so frustrating to say that because a lot of dermatologists don't necessarily deal with like individual product recommendations, but I'd really recommend asking your dermatologist and seeing what like he or she would think is better, because it's difficult, it's tricky, and I don't want to recommend anything that could make your skin a lot worse and make your dermatologist really upset, because that's not something I would want to do, and I also just like don't feel comfortable making recommendations when you're dealing with a very specific and targeted problem that you're going to a professional to get rid of. So I'm sorry, but that's what I feel most comfortable with. But good luck. I hope your skin gets better. Please go ask your dermatologist for recommendations. I'm sure he's had a lot of clients who have dealt with the exact same thing. Let's see. Sorry, it froze up for some reason. It does this thing where it freezes up and then it just like, boom, like instantly a ton of comments all at once. Let's see. Can I use niacinamide while on Accutane? When dealing with any, you know, Accutane specifically, I feel like it's always a good idea to check with your dermatologist, but from what I understand, niacinamide plays very nicely with pretty much all ingredients. Like, niacinamide is a skin soothing agent, so usually it works with strong treatments to, you know, reduce any irritation. But again, I recommend, since you do have access to a dermatologist, and this goes for anyone who's watching who, say, is on Accutane or does have access to a dermatologist, please use them as like where you can for skincare advice, because my channel is definitely directed at people who can't afford a dermatologist, who don't have access to one. Like me growing up, there's no way I would be able to afford a dermatologist. Like here in Hawaii, the sessions are about $150 to $170 each. So they're really expensive. So that's what my channel is for. But if you have access to a dermatologist, then I'm like, take advantage of them, definitely, because that's a great resource to have, and you're one of the very lucky few that have it. Let's see. Can I pair the Cerave Salicylic Acid Cleanser and Paul's Choice BHA? Aloha from Oahu. Oh, hi! So I hesitate with that because here's the thing. The Paula's Choice 2% BHA, you're getting the strongest concentration of BHA as a leave-on treatment. So that is the highest potential for sensitivity. So if you're adding any more salicylic acid on top of that, it can really kind of push your skin over the edge. And I really only recommend going in with like one type of treatment product for your skincare routine. I don't recommend doubling up on different types of treatments. So if you're using 2 AHA products, or if you're using 2 retinols, or if you're using 2 salicylic acid products, I don't recommend that. So I'd recommend one or the other. I have to say, Paula's Choice 2% BHA solution is my guilty pleasure. I love that product, but Cerave is amazing as well, especially if you want something like not as strong, because the Paula's Choice is definitely very strong. Oh, come on, it's freezing. Oh, okay. Let's see. Hello, can I use lactic acid than niacinamide? Yes, niacinamide works great alongside exfoliants. I don't see a problem with that at all. And there's a lot of people who are like, you can't mix this ingredient with this ingredient, you can't mix this. I know, like, pretty much all the dermatologists and chemists that I consume their content, a lot of them are just like, no, that's like a myth. Like, a lot of ingredients you can mix together. It just depends on concentration and what's best for your skin, which I agree with that sentiment. But niacinamide is, like what I said before, one that plays really nicely with most products. Let's see. I need a regimen for my oily teen skin, breakouts, acne, all of it. Yeah, so go watch my video. There's 2 videos. The best products for getting rid of acne and the best products for oily skin. Both are in my teen acne series. That will really help you understand like which products are best for your specific skin type and what you're struggling with. So I'd recommend go watching those, because as much as I'd love to make a routine for you, like within this live stream, I am not able to get enough information to really understand like what your skin would be to make the best recommendation. So go watch those videos and then you can figure out what's going to be, you know, best for your personal skin. Let's see, night acne skin care routine, Cerave Salicylic Cleanser, Paula's Choice 2% BHA, Naturium Niacinamide Serum, Oil-Free Moisturizer, Benzoyl Peroxide on T-Zone Thoughts. So I will say that's a lot of anti-acne treatments. I would say you're going in a little too strong. So not only are you using 2 different salicylic acid treatments, you're also using benzoyl peroxide afterwards, which is dangerously on the edge of overstripping your skin and causing even potentially more breakouts and sensitivity. I'd say bring your treatments down to 1. So either the Paula's Choice 2% BHA or the benzoyl peroxide treatment, I'd say would be best to help get rid of that acne, and then really make sure you're moisturizing in those areas so you're not wrecking your moisture barrier. If you are using an oil-free moisturizer, that can sometimes not be enough moisture, especially overnight, if you're going to be using those products. So you can use, you know, another oil-free moisturizer that's much more that's really hydrating, or, you know, I would say just use a more hydrating cream to compensate for the dryness and stripping that can come from those treatments, because sometimes acne and breakouts can come because you're stripping your skin too much and you're creating the problem you're trying to avoid, and you're working to get rid of. They can cause those issues in the first place. So I would say, yeah, just roll it back to one of those, or also you can do like salicylic acid one night and then benzoyl peroxide the other night. That's also a great way of doing that. Let's see, OMG, I really need to know what you think of the Ren Vitamin C Moisturizer and Ren AHA BHA Toner. I'm gagging for the T on them. So if you're talking about the Ren AHA Toner, like the orange one, it has essential oils, so I'm not a fan of that one. If I remember right, their Vitamin C Moisturizer does as well. I think the values of Ren as a company are so good, but just the formulas on a lot of their products, not a lot of them, just some of them, are just not quite there. Because they do formulate with essential oils and fragrance. I do love some of their products though. I think some of their products are really good, but those specific products I don't remember liking, to be honest. Okay, Natalie says, I have very sensitive dry skin and I have tried micellar cleansing water, but it made me break out and dried my skin out, but I don't want to continue using makeup wipes. Okay, interesting. I'd say it maybe if you broke out due to a micellar cleansing water, it might be that specific cleansing water, because it would surprise me if a cleansing water broke you out but not a makeup wipe, because makeup wipes are way more harsh on the skin and way more likely to break you out. It could be that specific type of micellar water, and you can try another one. Also, when you use a micellar water, you want to make sure that you use a cleanser afterwards, or at the very least rinse it off afterwards, because sometimes leaving a cleansing water on your skin can, you know, be stripping to your skin, because it's cleansing agents. You don't want to leave those on your skin for a long period of time, because it'll just slowly strip your skin. So you want to make sure you rinse it off afterwards, but I say maybe try another cleansing water, because you I'm very surprised if your skin is okay with makeup wipes but not a cleansing water. So good luck with that. The Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water is one that I love. Bioderma Cleansing Water, that's probably my personal favorite. Those are great ones to start with if you want. Is fake tan bad for your face? No, it's not. say fake tan is fine, just make sure you look at the ingredients of fake tan. Sometimes they use a lot of essential oils or fragrance, which I'm not a fan of, but definitely I think fake tan is great because it will encourage you to stay out of the sun, which is the best thing. You're going to be able to get that tan without getting the sun damage. So I love the concept of fake tans, although I haven't really hopped on it yet. I really need to. I want to fake tan, but I just haven't. Thoughts on Avene? Love you. Thank you, Jai. So Avene, you know, I got a bunch of products. I started using some of them. I haven't used all of them. It's just because they kind of look like an upcharged Cerave, to be honest. Like, the ingredients are very basic, but they have a few like good ingredients there. And the reason why I love Cerave is because I think it's a great line to start with on your skincare routine. You know, it's really affordable, really simple, with some really good ingredients at a very affordable price point. So it's a great entryway into the skincare world. Avene is pretty expensive, but the formulas are relatively the same in terms of simplicity. So I don't know, I am not on board the Avene train quite yet, although I have heard that products in Europe from Avene are formulated a lot better. I don't know if that's true, but I have heard that, so I can only speak for USA. Let's see. Hi, I've considered dermaplaning for acne scars and was wondering your thoughts on it. I have sensitive skin, so I've been unsure about it. You know, dermaplaning, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I will say I just recommend, when it comes to those types of things, going and getting a professional treatment done, because not only will the professional treatments be a lot more effective, in my opinion, they will be in a lot more safe environment. And dermaplaning is one of those things where I have seen people really like cut up their skin from it, so I get a little nervous. And I mean, there are different devices that say they're dermaplaning when they're actually like just like removing the little like fine hairs, or there's, you know, actually like using like the blade like dermaplaning. So it depends on what type you're referring to specifically as well. But I'd say, I mean, it's fine if you know what you're doing, but just be really careful. And particularly if you have sensitive skin, I would recommend just going in with a chemical exfoliant like mandelic acid or PHAs. Those are going to be, you know, really good for sensitive skin and getting rid of those acne scars without you needing to, you know, kind of like physically shave the dead skin cells off your face. Man, so many questions. Thank you guys. Let's see. Thoughts on Dove's sensitive bar soap on the face? I'm just not a big bar soap person for a facial cleanser because it's not the most sanitary thing in the world. And I can't remember who was talking about it. Maybe it was Susan Yara, to where she was talking about a bar soap, but she was like, it's 2020. Like, we're past this. You know, like, skincare technology has progressed so far beyond just bar soap. There's just so many better formulas out there. And sometimes with bar soap, the ingredients used, or, you know, the pH of it can be overly stripping to the skin. So I just say, like, sometimes they're not bad, you know, but overall there's just so many other better options for pretty much the same price points in terms of good cleansers. So I'd recommend those instead, to be honest. I've seen people saying like, oh my gosh, like you should turn on like slow mode for chat. I have tried turning on slow mode many times and it never works. I think there's just like too many questions coming through. So I'm sorry if it's craziness in the comments section, but I do my best to read as many as I can. Can you use the iUnique Tea Tree Serum with retinol? Yeah, you can. From what I know, there's no like irritating ingredients within that. I'd say one of the primary ingredients in that is niacinamide, which works great with retinol. It doesn't have any like other treatment ingredients per se. So yeah, I'd say it's fine to use with retinol, although they can, I mean, like, there's a little bit of tea tree in that one, which may cause a little bit of irritation if you are sensitive to tea tree, because retinol can, you know, increase potential sensitivity, but overall I'd say it's fine. Definitely. Like, I love that product, and it has barely any tea tree oil. Thoughts on Garnier? Let me know if you guys want a video about Garnier. I struggle to find a lot of products that are fragrance-free from them. I love their micellar water, but that's pretty much about it, because the rest of the products that I find from them are so fragrance, like crazy fragrance, and kind of represent like a very cutesy style of skincare that's more focused on the experience and the smell than they are like really effective ingredients. So it's a pass for me. I haven't found anything that I love yet from them. Let's see. Oh man, it's so difficult. I'll be honest, some of the questions are kind of like pretty lengthy, and ones that would take me a good like 20 minutes to answer. So I'm like, oh, like I want to answer questions, but if it's, you know, you guys asking about like 6 different products altogether, I get a little nervous because that can take a while to respond. Thoughts on Proactive? Not my favorite. I think I get that question pretty much every live stream. But just to restate it out there, not my favorite. I think there's definitely better options to go with. They can overly strip your skin, and the amount of people I've talked to where they're like, Proactive fucked up my skin, kind of scares me a little bit. And I think some of their formulas have improved since like they first came out, but I'm not the biggest fan. I'd say Curology is just such a better option than Proactive. Why did I forget the name? Oh, more coffee. Let's see. Thoughts on Tarte skincare? You know, Tarte skincare has some good formulas, surprisingly, that have really impressed me. Some of them have fragrance and essential oils, but a lot of them are really good. I love the Tarte powder, the SPF powder, their exfoliating cleanser or their exfoliating leave-on treatment, their rich hydrating moisturizer. All those are really good. They're fragrance-free. They're non-irritating. I like them. I think they're pretty good. Thoughts on Hada Labo? I have tried a few products from Hada Labo. Haven't loved them, I'll be honest, but I think they're a good brand. I think they're awesome. Not the most accessible a lot of times. It's hard to find them. But I think they're a great brand. Like I from an ingredient standpoint, I just haven't found a product from them that I like really enjoyed. Most of them I didn't really like. And maybe it's just because they're not for my oily skin. They tend to really focus on a lot of hydration. Thoughts on Bliss skincare? So some products from Bliss have fragrance, which I'm not a fan of, but there are some products that I really like from Bliss. They're fragrance-free eye cream. Their Clear Genius line. Their peel from the Clear Genius line is really good. That one's awesome. I did. What's another one from them? Oh yeah, their Rose Gold fragrance-free moisturizer, another really good one as well. So I do like those products from Bliss. I think they're really good. I've used them. Let's see. So many questions. How do you feel about Tula's facial cleanser? You know, Tula is one of those brands that every time I want to buy it, and they're just pretty expensive. You know, they're pretty pricey for kind of the more simple formulas that they have, so I haven't found anything that has really like grabbed my attention, but they're not terrible. Like Tula definitely has some good formulas, and I don't think is like really harsh or really irritating compared to a lot of brands out there. Let's see. Thoughts on Innisfree? Love you, Hiram. Thank you. I love you too. So Innisfree, man, I want to buy so many Innisfree products. Like, you guys have no idea how many times I've shopped Innisfree trying to find something to buy and ending up with nothing, because 99% of their products, I can only think of one product they have that is fragrance free. The rest of their products, they love fragrance. Like, they use a ton of fragrance. It's the type of fragrance, like when you open the jar, you're like, oh, like, whoa, hit me strong, you know? So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. And they're really affordable, but in my opinion, brands like Purito, I Unique, Some by Me, I'm From are so much better in terms of quality for relatively the same price point, and are, you know, directly from Korea. And I'd say those are much better options than Innisfree. Let's see. I feel like I say that like 100 times in a video. Like, let's see. Tea tree products. I would be careful about tea tree. I think tea tree is great when at low concentrations, but when at really high concentrations, it can operate similarly to a fragrant essential oil and just like be more irritating than beneficial for your skin. So I'd say when it's formulated correctly in a product, and I like tea tree extract as opposed to tea tree oil, essential oils are way more volatile and prone to, you know, oxidization, or oxidizing, or, you know, kind of causing sensitivity and irritation, while extracts are much more well tolerated by the skin. But it just depends. Like, a lot of products that I love, like this one right here, that it has tea tree, but it's just at a lower concentration. So I'd just be mindful about how much tea tree is in it. Definitely not anything with 100% tea tree essential oil. Like, you know how people are like, oh, just use like tea tree oil on your spots. Please do not do that. Please, please, please do not ever apply straight essential oil to your face. Let's see. Thoughts on Cosrx? You know, from a formula standpoint, love Cosrx. Their products are hit or miss for me. Some I love, like their snail mucin is amazing. But other products from them haven't worked as well. So it's hit or miss on experience, but my skin is different than everyone else's. From a formula standpoint, I really like Cosrx. I think they're a great brand and one of the most accessible like Korean beauty brands here in the USA. So I definitely approve. Thoughts on Derma E products? Derma E, oh gosh, I want to love them. I want to like love them and support them with my whole heart, but a lot of their products have fragrance, like a lot of essential oils, and they kind of fall more in like the natural skincare is better lane, which I'm not crazy about, but some of their fragrance-free formulas are really good, and honestly, I should be recommending them more in my videos. I'm honestly really grateful for these live streams because it helps me realize like which products I'm not recommending enough. And there's been so many times where I've been like, oh, why do I not talk more about that brand? I really should. I like that brand. And then I start introducing them into videos more because I'm always on the lookout for, you know, new products and new brands to recommend to you guys. Thoughts on Face Theory? I love Face Theory. I think they're so great. I'm going to be using more products from them in the future, but I think they're a great company. And they represent exactly what I want the entire skincare industry to follow. They have their fragrance formulas, and then they have their fragrance-free formulas. And you can get a fragrance-free formula of every one of their products. That makes me so happy to see. I love seeing that because that's exactly what I want. Like, I'm not here to drag every fragrance product to the ground. I'm just like, also release a version of your product without fragrance so it's accessible to people who have fragrance allergy. So yeah, I think Face Theory is great. They're also really affordable and very environmentally friendly, so love that. I think I have normal skin but lacking moisture. I have bad wrinkles on my forehead, only 23 years old. Ooh, blackheads, salicylic acid doesn't really work, and some sunspots. Tips, please. Oh yeah, for sure. So it seems like you're very familiar with your skin. Bad wrinkles on the forehead when you're 23 is difficult. I would recommend go watch my video about how I got rid of my wrinkles at 18 years old because I used to have forehead wrinkles pretty badly as well, and I was able to get rid of them through a combination of like different steps but also products. Sunscreen is definitely going to be the most important for all of these things. Like if you're not using a really strong sunscreen every day, then these problems are just going to get worse over time. As far as sunspots and blackheads, niacinamide is definitely going to be your friend because it's going to reduce that sebum control while also brightening the sunspots, or retinol is also going to be your friend as well. If salicylic acid doesn't work, try benzoyl peroxide, but only use benzoyl peroxide on the areas where the blackheads are the worst because it can kind of like overly strip the rest of your face. So that's kind of like the best strategy that I'd recommend, if anything. But you know, if it does start to get worse, then I'd recommend a dermatologist because those are all such different and varying issues, and it's difficult to find like a few products that work to properly treat all of those issues combined. So that may be smart in the future in case you're still struggling down the road. How can you tell the difference between skin irritation and an allergic reaction? Ooh, I mean, that's a good point. The terms really shouldn't be used interchangeably. I don't use them interchangeably, but you know, it just depends on the person. Everyone is different in terms of what their skin sensitivity or allergic reaction would be. Typically, allergic reaction is a lot more severe. So that can be like welts or burns, or you know, really severe breakouts that lead to scarring or different things like that, and they also stay for a while. Skin irritation, like from a product, is typically way more mild. Like you'll get little bumps on your face, maybe a little bit of a rash, you'll get redness, sensitivity, your skin will like sting a little bit when you touch it, but it'll go away after like a week tops. A skin allergy, like I said before, typically more severe, and definitely if you're dealing with that kind of response, I'd recommend going to a dermatologist because it's likely that, you know, you are having an extreme reaction to something. But I will say skin sensitivity is way more common than skin allergy. Allergy is typically more very specified and not as, you know, common, because most people's skin can tolerate the majority of skin ingredients. It really just comes down to the formula and the percentage. Thoughts on Curology? Man, I feel like maybe I should make another video about Curology because I say them all the time in my live streams and on TikTok and stuff. I love Curology. I think they're great. I think they're an awesome company. Love what they're doing. Maybe I should make another video about that. Things to use on textured skin. AHAs are going to be your friends. So glycolic acid, lactic acid, mandelic acid, polyhydroxy acids. Any of those are going to be really good for getting rid of that textured skin, because it's really going to help to just like shed all the excess dead skin cells and help, you know, to make sure that your skin is kind of, you know, renewing itself essentially with good skin cells. So I'd recommend that. Retinol can always also be your friend depending on how textured your skin is. But also recognize where sometimes textured skin can be genetic. So if you've always had that level of texture, like for example, like compared to some of my friends, they have like this natural texture across their face. Their skin is beautiful, but they have like this natural texture that almost makes their skin more resilient, while my skin is very like soft. So I have to be way more mindful about like anti-aging products and you know, how often I exfoliate and how often I use retinol. While they're kind of like okay because their skin is a lot more resilient. So in that case, you know, sometimes it can be genetic, but yeah, I'd say definitely exfoliation. Thoughts on resveratrol? I think it's great. I need to learn more about it, to be honest, but I think resveratrol is a great ingredient that I hope to see incorporated into more skincare products in the future, because it's bomb. Let's see. What do you think of the Eucerin Demo Purifier range? To be honest, I don't know that specific range. Eucerin overall, I think, is a good brand. Very simple, kind of like Cetaphil in the sense that it's just very basic, very simple, but will still get the job done. I don't know that range from them, but if I remember right, all of Eucerin products are pretty good about being free of irritants and fragrance, so I think it's a good bet. Thoughts on Ponz products? Love you. Thank you, Ariel. Or Ariella. You know, I was okay with some of their products, like their cleansing creams, right up until I figured out they do some like skin whitening products around the world, and that made me kind of uncomfortable. So I don't know how I feel about Ponz, to be honest. A lot of their products do have fragrance, and definitely kind of like old lady skincare. They have that smell where it's like, oh, like this is what my grandma uses, you know, sort of thing. Probably because they've been around forever, but like specifically in like India and markets there, I was seeing like a lot of Ponz advertisements for like whitening creams, which I do not like. So I have yet to formulate my final opinion, but I'm a little skeptical right now. If anyone knows that if that is true or if Ponz has changed since, please let me know. Pixie Clarity Tonic. Ooh, yes, I wanted to talk about this. I am actually going to purchase it. I really like the formula of the Clarity Tonic from Pixie. It is so good. Like, I was looking at the ingredient list last night and I was just like, holy shit, like I'm definitely going to buy this and use it. And you know, I've gone hard against Pixie in the past, and I believe when a brand does like formulates a really good product that's mindful of like, you know, our concerns, that we need to celebrate that. So I definitely want to, you know, give attention to that product because I think it's great. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that product from a formula standpoint. It's very good. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes. So like we always do at the end of my live streams, feel free to ask me non-skincare questions. Like send in questions about my personal life or invasive questions, do what you may. No, I'm kidding. Just feel free to ask whatever questions you want. I think for our live streams, we get so heavily focused on skincare that I think it's fun to kind of, you know, try something a little different. So feel free to ask other questions. Next hair color, natural. As much as I love like fun hair colors, it's a lot of maintenance, and sometimes I get a little tired of like walking into a room and being like instantly the center of attention because they're like, whoa, that guy has purple hair, or always seeing people who are like kind of like staring really intently at me, and I'm kind of like, what's, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember your hair. So I think probably natural, but mostly just because of the maintenance. Like it doesn't bother me too much with like people looking at my hair color. I think it's just a lot of maintenance that I'm just not a fan of. Maybe just because I'm lazy. Have I listened to Dynamite by BTS? No, and when I saw Dynamite trending, I thought it was by Tayo Cruz. That shows how old I am. Like, but I need to listen to Dynamite. I like BTS. I will say I'm more of a Blackpink person because I love that badass female energy, but I really like BTS, and I'm excited to listen to that song and see what I think. How old are these snake plants behind you? I don't know, but I've had them for like a year, I think. I don't know. They're still very healthy. I know a lot of people are like, they need water when they get super low on water. Like, they need sunlight, but snake plants actually don't like sunlight. They actually like the dark. And they're doing pretty well. They seem to be very healthy, so I'm happy. It's like the only plants I have managed to not kill, knock on wood. Let's see. Someone called. I'm sorry if it paused. Sorry if it paused. Someone called. Favorite show on Netflix? I love you, by the way. Oh, thank you, Beth. I don't watch Netflix, really. Or at least I have very rarely in the past. I mean, my most favorite recent one that I saw was probably Sex Education. That's a really good show. I really like that show. Do you listen to Little Mix? Of course, I love Little Mix. I've listened to them forever. They are just such like an empowering, like, girl power group, and I love it. Ugh, I just love them, and they're so humble and down to earth. I love them. Have I lived in Hawaii my entire life? No, I moved here about 5 years ago. I grew up in Arizona on a cattle ranch in the middle of nowhere, and yeah. Tell us a little bit about Hawaiian culture. I love you so much. Thank you. So I do plan on doing it in some projects that I'm working on. I definitely want to focus more so on that because I feel like me living in Hawaii, I have a duty to talk about some of the issues here, and one issue very much at hand is the diminishing and the erasure of, you know, indigenous Hawaiian culture here, and why that needs to be talked about. And so I have content coming up about that, not to worry. Do you know Bretman Rock? I don't know him personally, but he follows me. Which no, it's I mean, I don't know him personally. We haven't like talked, but he does follow me, and he seems like a really nice guy. So I would love to hang out with him at some point, since he is, you know, on the same island as me. So that's pretty cool. Where's my necklace from? It's from Nahoku. It's a store here in Hawaii that does like Hawaiian inspired jewelry. This was originally a earring, but my best friend and I turned it into necklaces. So just for fun, you know, like friendship necklaces. Let's see. Do you have any hollow taco polishes? Yes, I do. I have 2, and I want to get more, but they sell out so freaking fast. The only reason I was able to get these 2 is because I was at VidCon, and they happened to have stock left over, even though it had already sold out online. So, yes, I do. I love, 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 love. Oh, and you guys will love to know, Christine from Simply Nailogical, she recently followed me. I freaked out. I freaked out. I love her so much. I think she's such a cool person. Who's your favorite music artist? Love from Indiana. It is a tie between Nicki Minaj and Illenium. I can't decide which I like more. Nicki Minaj got me through so much growing up. Like, she's just incredible and inspires me. But Illenium, once I like actually like moved to Hawaii, has gotten me through so much, and like I have like cried way too much to his music. So it's a tie between both of them. I love both of them. Okay, I'll do 2 more questions. What island of Hawaii do you live on? Oahu. So the main island, well, not the main island, like the one with Honolulu, so the capital. I live in Honolulu. Will you do a meet and greet? Yes, and I did do some before, which were amazing. If you happen to be one of the few people that were at the meet and greets, you know, that was so much fun. All those experiences were a blast, even though we got like kicked out of the mall in Chicago. There was so much fun. But you know, to be honest, I don't know the next time I'm gonna be able to do a meet and greet, just because I don't think it's smart obviously right now with COVID, but I don't know when life is gonna get back to normal. But you can bet that the second like we find a cure or something happens, you know, that's really good, or it goes away, who knows what will happen, I will be doing so many meet and greets. My plan is to, ideally I would love to do a meet and greet in every single city like I visit, because I want to meet you guys wherever I can. But we'll see about that in the future. Thank you guys so much for this live stream. Thank you for all of your super chats and support and all of your questions. Like I always say, it really means a lot to me that you trust me with your skin concerns. And I take that trust really, really seriously, which is why I want to recommend the best, the most non-irritating, and the, you know, most accessible products to you guys. And I am trying my best. So I hope this helps. Thank you all so much for watching, and expect a video tomorrow. A video will be going up tomorrow that I'm excited to share with you guys. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I almost knocked over my coffee. That was scary.